All right, and USC's Department of Public Safety is ramping up security efforts tonight for Halloween. We spoke with the USC Department of Public Safety to hear about what their plans are to keep students safe later tonight on Annenberg Media.
The West Hollywood Carnival is expected to have nearly 500,000 people. So one of the things they're doing to keep people safe is prohibiting costumes with a weapon. Coming up, we're going to show you what they're doing new this year to keep people safe.
California voters are lining up early to exercise their right to vote. Hear why so many are voting a week early.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
DPS responded to 6 alcohol transport calls over the Halloween weekend. Tonight, they're on the alert for more. I'm Kristen Lago.
And I'm Rachel Frayne. Annenberg Media's Brad Stryker is live on the row where some of these calls came from. Brad?
Fraternity Row outside of the Phi Kappa Alpha house where one of those transports happened last night. Now, like we said, there were multiple different alcohol-related transports, 6 to be exact. Not all of those took place, of course, on USC's Fraternity Row. A number of those all throughout the university area. Now, there were a number of other crimes. There were also a bunch of thefts that were reported on a number of other instances as well. But Annenberg Media's Disha Raychowdhary spoke with USC's Department of Public Safety earlier today to find out what their plans are to keep students safe.
The Department of Public Safety is fully staffed to maintain campus security this Halloween night.
One of our concerns is with the number of people and the traffic that there can be accidents. And of course, one of our biggest concerns is overconsumption of alcohol. So we don't want that to happen. So we see sometimes with a very highly visible presence of law enforcement, we kind of try and hold that down.
According to USC's Department of Public Safety, this Halloween weekend saw an increase in the number of reported alcohol transport as compared to the previous few years. Several students on campus shared their tips on how to stay safe.
I totally feel like having a really good, trusting friend with you is the safest thing.
When you're traveling to the party, make sure to always stick with someone that you know that you can trust, and also make sure no one touches your drink because someone could easily put something in it.
We try and get a large group of people to go, usually a couple guys thrown in there just because, but definitely at least a group of 5 people.
Carlisle says they're putting more staff on duty tonight to help keep students safe. But he says students need to take care of themselves too. Carlisle said that LAPD officers will also be on patrol tonight. For Annenberg Media, I am Disha Raychowdhary.
All right, thank you, Disha. An alarming number of reports coming all within the university area. Everything from 13 different theft cases to even a sexual assault case as well. Now, what we are going to be also talking about is how university's Department of Public Safety also reported a number of interesting incidents. There was even a clown scare in light of the recent creepy clown sightings that have been going on all across the country, as well as even a group of people who were even throwing eggs at Tommy Trojan. But that's going to do it for us tonight. Like we said, DPS increasing security efforts around USC's community, keeping students safe. But for now, I'll send it back to Kristen in the studio.
Thanks, Brad. The annual West Hollywood Halloween Carnival is underway. Nearly 500,000 people are expected to attend. Annenberg Media's Lauren Day found out what West Hollywood is doing to keep people safe this Halloween.
Halloween is a big night in West Hollywood, drawing people from all over California and beyond for tonight's annual Halloween Carnival.
Yeah, we drove 7 hours just to come out here.
Many take their costumes very seriously.
Every year I start thinking about 6 months ahead of time what I'm going to go as.
In years past, Moore has gone as Silver Surfer, Thor, and Spider-Man.
This year I wanted to do something that might have made a little bit more of a political statement.
And he's doing just that.
I will be the greatest president.
The massive street party doesn't just bring in people, but also business for local bars.
Probably about 20,000 to 25,000 come through the doors of the chapel in the Abbey tonight.
Of course, with nearly 500,000 people expected to attend the West Hollywood Carnival, security this year will be especially tight. The mayor of West Hollywood says bags like this will not be allowed and attendees will instead have to use a clear bag. And if your costume has any sort of a weapon, that will not be allowed.
Our public safety department has been working with the sheriff's department and our private security block by block to make sure that we are totally prepared for tonight.
So we have police barricades out, we have security within the club, outside the club.
Party goers say they are excited for tonight.
It's impossible to not have a good time here.
Have a good time while being safe, of course. For Annenberg Media, I'm Lauren Day.
Normal service has resumed on the Metro after an Expo Line train collided with an SUV near Exposition Boulevard and Western Avenue. 2 people on the train did require medical evaluations, but the LA Fire Department says no one was taken to the hospital. A tow truck moved the SUV off the tracks, and a Metro spokesperson says delays should no longer be expected as the scene is clear. Los Angeles saw record early voter turnout this weekend, and even more people showed up to cast their ballots today. Kevin McAllister hits the polls to show us why many residents aren't waiting until next Tuesday to vote.
Uh-oh, that's my number.
Today, Joyce Ricard cast her vote in the 2016 election, 8 days before America officially decides.
We just wanted to make sure we got here and voted.
And she's far from alone. This weekend, nearly 8,000 Los Angeles residents did the same thing.
We have a very active and mobile electorate, people who don't find a random Tuesday the most convenient time for them to vote.
An electorate that's getting even more active. The number of early voters just this past weekend tripled the total number of early voters in 2008. And that was the record before this year.
We located 1 vote center in each of the 5 LA County supervisorial districts.
So early voters had 4 more places to cast a ballot than in recent elections. But even with more locations, voters still found themselves waiting.
In some cases, as you say, that line got really long and people waited hours.
Now here at the LA County Registrar's office, you can see the line is forming behind me. While not every single person is waiting to cast a ballot, many are and are experiencing slight wait times. But when 2020 rolls around, Dean Logan tells me that won't be an issue.
We expect to have hundreds of these locations available during the 10 days leading up to the election.
But that's a prospect that not everyone is thrilled by.
I do have problems with early and absentee voting. For one thing, the obvious problem is people are voting before the campaign ends.
Which could be tricky if there's an October surprise.
You can't get your ballot back, it's too late.
But still, early voters continue to hit the polls before it's too late. For Annenberg Media, I'm Kevin McAllister.
The FBI will have to sort through thousands of emails to get to the bottom of the so-called October surprise that surfaced last week.
Our political anchor Aiden McMillan has more on the story. Aiden?
Thanks, guys. At a rally in Michigan today, Donald Trump once again called Hillary Clinton corrupt. He latched on to the recent controversy about the FBI finding new emails that could be related to her now infamous private email server scandal.
Hillary Clinton's corruption, 8 days, you're right, is a threat to democracy. And the only way to save our democracy is to get out and vote by the millions.
Clinton also addressed the investigation at her rally in Ohio, but she claimed it's meant to influence the presidential election.
I'm sure a lot of you may be asking what this new email story is about and why in the world the FBI would decide to jump into an election with no evidence of any wrongdoing with just days to go. That's a good question.
On Friday, FBI Director James Comey sent a letter to Congress saying the FBI found new emails that could be related to the Clinton email controversy. The case was closed in July. So what are the most important things that you should know about these new emails? Well, number one, the emails were found through an FBI investigation of Anthony Weiner. The former congressman was married to Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin. The FBI had a warrant to search Weiner's computer because of a reported relationship with a minor. There could be email communication between Abedin and Clinton's private server on this computer. The FBI is reviewing what is in the newly discovered emails, and Democrats think Comey's announcement could be politically charged. In fact, Democratic Minority Leader Harry Reid wrote a letter to Comey claiming that Comey's announcement could be illegal. Reed said, quote, "Through your partisan actions, you may have broken the law," end quote. Comey's announcement did not reopen the original Clinton investigation. The FBI is looking through the new emails to see if they contain any evidence that would warrant reopening the case. Thanks, Rachel. Back to you.
San Diego is home to about 700 Syrian refugees. Yesterday, USC students went down south to lead an aid effort. USC Annenberg reporter Razan Niklawi went down to give us some live coverage.
We're here with USC Annenberg Media at a USC-led aid drive in San Diego. This is for Syrian refugee families who have settled here days ago, months ago, almost a year ago. As you can see, people are picking up shoes, clothes, there's families, children around.
I'm here with Roz herself and student organizer of the event, Sophia Deek. Roz, Sophia, thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course. So, Sophia, my first question's for you. I want to know what kind of prompted you to start this event?
So, following the news about the war in Syria has been really horrifying and heartbreaking, and I really wanted to be able to do something that would actually be helpful. So learning that all these families had recently moved to San Diego was really exciting for me because I thought that, people from USC would be able to help and have a real impact on their lives.
Right. So being there, what was it like to interact one-on-one with these refugees?
It was amazing. I mean, some of us don't speak Arabic, but some of us that went down did, and they were so excited, so appreciative, so happy to be there. The kids were just so cute, like running around. They were really excited to get the toys that we were giving them. The families were, helping us clean up the event that we had put on for them. They were inviting us to their homes for coffee. It was just like so incredible to see after all that they've been through, how appreciative they were and how excited for like what we thought was kind of a small gesture.
That's nice to hear. So Roz, you were there and you got to speak with refugees as well, but you had a translator. Can you kind of describe what they thought of the event and the crisis in general?
Yeah, sure. So we spoke to them through a translator. They speak Arabic, and I was surprised at how happy and content they were with where they were. El Cajon isn't the most rich place. It's kind of deprived. They're kind of in a dangerous area, but they were so content and just so blessed to be in America. So it was really actually quite uplifting, which surprised me personally.
So I wanted to hear from both of you. Do you guys think that USC students have enough awareness about this crisis, and what more can they do to kind of be involved and help in those volunteer efforts?
Yeah, I think that awareness is there, but I kind of think inaction takes hold, and that we kind of feel that it's so distant, it's so far away from us, we don't have to deal with it. But it was literally like a 2-hour drive. That there's actually like this huge community of refugees that like don't have proper housing, don't have basic supplies. Like we could definitely help these people.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's room for more awareness. I know just talking to my friends and family about the experiences that these people have shared with us, there was a lot of shock there. So there is like a lack of understanding about some of the basic problems that these families are facing. And I definitely think that USC students have the resources to be incredibly impactful with these refugee families and be welcoming to them. And I think ways to get more involved would just be to be more aware of what's going on and also sympathetic to these families, what they're going through, and possibly extending a hand to help in any way possible.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And students are protesting a statewide tuition increase. See how students at one college are taking their protest to the next level. A new South LA housing complex could bring businesses and more residents to the area. Find out why some residents are pushing against it and saying it could increase rent. And one hospital wants to make sure all of its patients get in on the Halloween experience this year. Hear what it's doing for its young patients.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter?
Students at Cal State University Dominguez Hills held a die-in today to protest the end of a statewide tuition freeze and the start of a proposed tuition hike. Members of the Students for Quality Education painted their faces with zombie-like makeup and played dead on the ground to attract attention from the passing student body. They say that all students in the Cal State system deserve free and quality education, not a 5% tuition increase.
Tuition was going to be free and accessible and quality, and obviously those aren't things that we're getting as students. And that just means we have to pull strings from elsewhere to meet those, those needs that we have.
A tuition freeze has been in effect for the last 4 years and came after tuition increases of almost 300% between 2002 and 2012. The freeze will come to an end this November. Members of the faculty and staff joined their students to support their cause.
Have every right, and they feel it's their responsibility to represent their student body and to say early on, we don't want this. Students have every right to say, like, this is my education and I want to make sure that I'm getting what I pay for, and I don't know if I want to pay more.
The issue will come before the Board of Trustees on November 15th and 16th.
Protesters chanted as they marched into the lobby of a development in South LA today. They want more affordable housing units as the Reef is set to expand. Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan spoke with both protesters and community members who support the project.
Protesters interrupted lunch hour with chants as they pushed past security into the lobby of the Reef development in South LA.
It's important that when we see something that is going to cause displacement, that we stand up and we speak up against it.
They say the Reef's expansion plan, which includes 1,400 apartments and condos, plus restaurants, a grocery store, and a gym, will increase rent in the area.
It encourages other landlords to come and raise their prices up.
So they want 50% of the new apartments to be designated as affordable housing.
The people living here are a priority.
But some community members say it's no big deal. After all, the development location is just a parking lot. They say no one will be displaced, and having the Reef here will actually better their community.
We need investment in this area.
Sergio Juarez is the pastor of a church about a mile from the Reef. He and his wife Sarah support the development.
You want to see clean, green grass and smell trees. So that's why I support the Reef, because it's going to bring new life to the community.
In a statement, the developer said 5% of the units will be affordable housing, and they've donated $15 million to build more housing nearby. But protesters say they plan to take their signs to City Hall tomorrow, when the expansion plan is on the agenda of a City Council subcommittee. For Annenberg Media, I'm Cole Sullivan.
Thanks so much, Cole. Let's throw it over to Lauren with our weather.
Thank you, guys. I know many of you are hitting the town tonight to celebrate Halloween, so whether you're trick-or-treating or hanging out with friends, I've got what you can expect weather-wise. Starting off with our current conditions, you can see that it's going to be 64. It's 64 right now, but you're definitely going to want a light jacket tonight because the temperatures are going to be staying in the low 60s to high 50s, and there is a 5 to 10% chance of rain after 8 o'clock, but it should stay pretty dry for you this Halloween. Looking at our forecast for SoCal tomorrow, you can see that the temperatures in the Inland Empire are going to be 69 in Riverside, 68 in San Bernardino. As we bring it back to the coast, you can see that it's going to be 68 in Malibu, 69 in Thousand Oaks, and staying in the high 60s to low 70 range as you move inland. Bringing it back to the USC area, we can see that it's going to be 69 tomorrow, as well as 68 in Long Beach and 67 at LAX. Moving on to our 5-day forecast, you can see that it's going to be in the 80s throughout the week and sunny skies all week long. So, luckily, the nice weather is going to continue into the weekend, and we're going to have great weather for our Trojan football game on Saturday.
Absolutely will. Thank you so much, Lauren. Mayor Garcetti started the last week before the election on a sweet note, passing out M&Ms at the North Hollywood Metro Station, encouraging commuters to vote yes on Measure M. The measure would add a tax to help pay for expansions to the metro system. Annenberg Media's Renee Gross talks to proponents and opponents of the measure.
Happy Halloween and vote yes on Measure M.
For Halloween, Mayor Garcetti is passing out candy and a note about Measure M. He says he's trying to convince commuters that a 0.5% tax increase is a small price to pay for the potential of less traffic.
Everybody thinks that that's well worth it to get time back with your family, to get to school on time, to get to work on time.
Supporters of Measure M say putting more money into public transportation projects is critical for people who commute.
The best example I have is that my daughter-in-law comes to this station and she's a doctor and she takes public transportation down to MLK every single day, and she could not do that job if it wasn't for public transportation.
The Metro says that this measure is a way to improve mobility, stimulate the local economy, and create jobs. It says it will invest in highway improvements, such as carpool lanes and other projects that might ease congestion. But critics say this 0.5% sales tax will disproportionately affect the poor, and there's no way we will see a decrease of traffic until 2056.
We're urging people to vote no on this. It's bad for the environment, it's bad for poor people, it's bad for public transportation.
Eric Mann is the director of the Labor Community Strategy Center. He says poor people in particular will get nothing back from this measure.
Projects are mainly construction projects to benefit the rich and to benefit a gentrified LA.
Voters will have to decide the best solution for public transportation and commuters. For Annenberg Media, I'm Renee Gross.
Trojans will be swarming campus this week for all of the homecoming festivities.
That's right, from women's soccer to football, sports will be a central part of the fun. Let's toss it over to our sports anchor, Alexa Palermo, for more.
Thank you, guys. That's right, the women of Troy will take on UCLA for a crosstown showdown. And the Trojans are looking to start off November with a win against Oregon at home. And after a great game against the Bears, you won't want to miss my pick of the week. Sports are next.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
French fries. Finding best potatoes.
No!
Russet. Fingerling. Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
The women of Troy have done it again. The number 4 ranked USC women's soccer team dominated number 22 ranked Colorado in a 3-0 shutout. Colorado native Alex Anthony tallied her second multi-goal game of the year.
It's a lot about getting our minds right because in terms of soccer, we know what we need to do and we're capable of it. It's just making sure that we're focused and ready to go.
The Trojans are gearing up for the crosstown showdown when they take on number 16 ranked UCLA this homecoming week. The Trojans will start November play by hosting Oregon for homecoming. The Trojans went undefeated in October and are looking to keep that hot streak alive. After not hearing much from Ronald Jones II in the beginning of the season, the sophomore exploded on Thursday night in the game against Cal. Rojo rushed for a career-high 223 yards and was named Trojan of the game. With Darnold leading the way, the Trojans are on fire and ready to show off for homecoming.
And as a head coach, what you're looking for is, are you improving from game 1 to game 8? And I can honestly say that we're doing that as a total, as from coaches to staff to the manager to the trainers. As an organization, we're improving with each and every game.
After Saturday, the Trojans won't play the Ducks again until 2019 because of the Pac-12 rotation schedule. The men's water polo team pulled out a big win over the weekend, avenging their only loss of the season. The number 3 ranked Trojans posted a commanding 10-6 win over number 2 ranked Cal. Under the lights, junior driver Matteo Morelli sparked the offense by scoring 4 goals, while goalie McQuinn Barron had 16 saves. The Trojans have improved to 18-1 overall and are still undefeated in MPSF play.
Next week we play San Jose State, and then we have our alumni game. I think it'll be a hard week of training, but I think we'll take San Jose seriously in preparation for UCLA the following week. Our big hope is to beat UCLA. We go into the conference tournament ranked number 1. We win that, and then we win in NC2As.
The Trojans will stay home this week and take on San Jose State for a non-conference matchup on Sunday. This week, my pick is from the Trojans' win over the Bears. The unsung hero of the game was the offensive line, who opened up massive holes to make the run game so effective. So naturally, my pick is Rojo's rushing touchdown. The defensive line was drawn in to try and sack quarterback Sam Darnold, who ended up pitching the ball out to Rojo. Rojo took off towards the end zone to score for the Trojans. This wasn't the tailback's only touchdown of the night, as he had a career record performance.
All right, well, thanks so much, Alexa. A special trick for treats for kids. Wow.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. Do you see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food was really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Bro? Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. That was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees?
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Patients and staff at the UCLA Mattel Children's Hospital got into the Halloween fun today. Patients dressed as Twix bars, bumblebees, and ladybugs trick-or-treated at booths outside the hospital. It's part of the hospital's Chase Child Life program, which holds activities that keep kids feeling like they're living an everyday childhood. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Kristen Lago.
And I'm Rachel Frayne. You can watch us on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. Good night.
Here's your check.